Time. Story time. It's time for a story, little girls and boys. This is not your friendly, happy story time. This is a true story. It's not real, but it's how things happen. It's how things work. It's how things are. So let's pick up from the story we told last time about this alien who wasn't really an alien, but he was just from another world. All worlds live and exist simultaneously on the same plane of existence. They're just happening simultaneously. It's just about focusing consciousness into one of those time waves. And so, let him that hath ears hear, and he who has eyes see. And so we left off with our alien buddy. We'll call him an alien because that makes it easy for gummy worms to understand and potentially wake up. But we left with him meeting with a council of sorcerers, scientists, which is an inferior term, but sorcerers and alchemists on his world. They were hundreds of thousands of years ahead of this worm-like world that we call Earth. And they all decided, okay, well, we're just going to let that place that they call Earth face its demise. It's going to be destroyed. We know it's going to be destroyed, and it is what it is. We don't really care for the 8 billion inhabitants that might have some genetic similarities to us. And if you watched that story, which, I don't know, 100 of you might have watched it, we'll recap, okay? The alien in question comes from a world that's far more advanced by about 200,000 to 300,000 years, more or less. Take or give 100,000 years. That's a big span of time. No, it's not. It's like this. It's nothing. And so anyway, this world is hundreds of thousands of years ahead of Earth. And yes, they're still physical incarnate beings. They just live longer and have better and happier lives. Well, I shouldn't say happier, more satisfying lives. Happy is a bad word for that. But they have satisfying lives. They live in a world that works. And they are traveling or traversing the waves of consciousness, the time waves, the timelines, the different spectrum of reality. And they decided to focus their consciousness on the world we call Earth, the world from which I am telling this story. And they said that world doesn't have much longer to exist because there is a major celestial body heading toward it, and it's going to get wiped out. And all the reason they were worried about Earth is because they share some genetic similarity with the people that live here. The people that live here like to call themselves human, but they're not actually human. They're something subhuman. But they have enough human qualities that, you know, these people from this other world were like, hey, let's check them out. Let's see what's going on. And so they decided that they were just going to let Earth meet its fate, experience its demise, and just see what happens. Like, okay, everything and everyone on that world is going to be wiped out. So I'll just see what happens. Hello, Kiki. Hello, Neil. Let me turn the light up on this. Neil Simon Balkans. Morning to you. It's evening for us. And so we left our alien friend. We're going to call him Lamu. We'll call him Lamu. It's an ancient name for the moon. So he and the sorcerers, the alchemists, the priestess, and the priests said, we're just going to see what happens to Earth. It's going to get wiped out, and we'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens. You know. And so that's where we left off with him. And so he decided, okay, let me do one last life on that planet. And so he looked at the 21st century. There was no 22nd or 23rd century because everything was by then. But he decided, let me go to the last century that this planet Earth exists. and I'm going to take a body there and just see how it goes. And the priests, the alchemists, the sorcerers said, okay, open up a portal. He passes through, takes a body. He decides to take a body in North America, in the United States, in somewhere in one of their deserts. And he says, okay, perhaps there's a way that I can have an impact on this world so that it will be rescued by humanity. Because the creatures that dominate this planet are like us. They're kind of human. They're subhuman, but they're kind of human. And I think that we should do what we can to salvage them. Perhaps we can collect a couple. Of course, there had been an ongoing program of genetic modification on the planet where they were trying to see how much humanity they could reincorporate into this subhuman group of, we'll call them higher apes that were living on the planet. And so he said, perhaps we can reignite the golden age that ancient humanity had. And he had many colleagues working on Earth that were trying to elevate the human story. They were doing their best to contribute through music, through science, through spirituality, through religion, through all these different mediums, through politics. They were doing the best they could to help the subhumans on Earth that called themselves human to be visible to the rest of humans in the cosmos. And perhaps humanity could come into Earth and say, yeah, we'll help those humans out. We'll deflect the asteroid, meteor, whatever you want to call the rock that's headed toward them. There's not just one rock. It's like thousands of them. When Earth gets hit, it's going to be bad. It's just going to be like dust. So they said, well, perhaps I can convince the rest of humanity to save the people of Earth. And so I will contribute my love and time and efforts to this worm-like, ape-like, lower proto-hominid subhuman species. And I will see if we can raise the frequency of the species with love and awareness and spiritual maturity so that they show up on the radar of protection. And so he decided to come back to Earth. Of course, he knew about the breeding program, the genetic modification program. He knew about the history that went back 12, 13, 20,000 years, where there was this desire to try and get humans going, you know? And I shouldn't use the word humans, because people of Earth are actually just people. They're like a subhuman people. And so he was like, yeah, we can do something, you know, maybe we could do something, right? Do something, have some impact to where the people of this planet can shine enough so that humanity can recognize that they're in trouble and come and help them and say, oh, that's our family, let's go help them. And so it was the beginning of the 21st century, and the humans, well, excuse me, the subhuman people on Earth were getting ready to go into the second phase of World War III. It was the 2020s, mid-2020s, and they were entering the second phase of World War III. And so at this point, they were going to be completely like invisible to the rest of humanity throughout the cosmos. They were just literally, that was it. They were going to drop a bunch of nukes on each other, and then they were going to be like, there would be like a straggling couple million of them left, and then the planet would just poof, and they would just be nothing. Nobody would care. Like the rest of humanity, it would be like a fly exploding in the middle of the desert. The humans wouldn't even think of it. They wouldn't even cross their mind. And so the people of Earth were going to go extinct. And so he and many of the other apex humans had to do something. Their time was running out, but they had to do something. And so they contributed their time, their talents, their love. Hello, everyone. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Kuk Tumur. Welcome. And they contributed their time and their talents. They contributed their love. They contributed their brilliance to their families, to their cultures, to their societies, to everyone that they came into contact with in an attempt to make it possible for the subhuman people of Earth to be visible to cosmic humans so that the cosmic species would come to Earth and help the people of Earth, these subhuman people. And try as he might, it was a very slow process. And it was not likely that he was going to succeed or that any of the other thousands and hundreds of thousands of individuals with him would make an impact or have an impact. And so there was one technology that he was given, and he was told, bring this to the people of Earth. We gave them a technology 12,000 years ago. It became their Holy Bible. But there's one more technology we want you to bring. This might change the story. This might cause or make it possible for those subhuman ape-like worms to be visible on our radar and worth our efforts to save them from their inevitable doom. And so he brought it. It was called the amesipent. And if you're familiar with that term, that's all you need to know. Stay Apex.